Thank you for waiting for the start of this meeting. Good evening and welcome to this February 12th, 2024 meeting of the Lake Bluff Village Board of Trustees. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Here.
Trustee Freed?
Here.
Trustee Rappin?
Here.
Trustee Ryder?
Here.
Trustee Cole and Hatch are absent tonight. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, no.
What a shame. Bummer.
Timing. Wow.
Better hurry up.
Yeah.
The rest of them.
Next, first on our agenda are awards and proclamations, introducing new Lake Bluff volunteer firefighters first. On Monday, February, on this Monday, we will have our fire chief, David Graff, introducing 4 new Lake Bluff volunteer firefighters and recognizing their service and to the community and recent completion of probationary training. The newly badged firefighters to be recognized include, and I hope I do not misspell your name, I'm French, what do you want? Alec Cathan, Logan Gosley, Elliot Cruz, and Matt Truffald. Chief.
Thank you. That response was not staged. That was a real ambulance call we just had. So thank you for allowing us to come and be with you tonight. As your volunteer fire department, we feel that we'd like to, if you will, from time to time, celebrate when we have a nice success. We have additional members coming on to our department, and we'd like to take the opportunity tonight to tell you a little bit about how our training program goes in the overall and particularly for new members. What I'd like to do is call up Russell Kluchka, please. He's on one of the key leaders of our training committee. I'd like him to speak with you a little bit about tonight about what our programs are, how we go about doing it, and then the actual introduction of our newest badged members. As part of this, what I'd like to do is also use Russell as an example. Right? Russell is the youngest of 3 boys in the Kluchka family, all 3 born and raised here in the village. Okay? Their dad, Jerry Kluchka, was a member of this department, is still a member of this department, and has for some 30-some years. Okay? By the very nature of being a volunteer fire department in a small town like ours, the boys inevitably came to the station. And probably a little bit before even the age level started to participate. They went on through their training to become volunteer firefighters as well. Russell and his brother Tim, who's here tonight, and brother Matt are all now career firefighters. Okay. Tim is with North Chicago. Matt and Russell are career firefighters for the city of Lake Forest, with their foundation from the Lake Bluff Volunteer Firefighter Training Program. We're incredibly proud of that. And we're incredibly proud of the entire Kluchka family that at times seems to be part of our bedrock. Saying all of that, Russell, could you come and speak, please?
Absolutely. Thank you, Chief. So my name is Lieutenant Russell Kluchka with Lake Bluff, as Chief introduced me. I'm one of the training committee members that heads up the training for our candidate training program of onboarding new members into the department. So a quick rundown of how our training works. As members come in, we're one of the last departments around in the immediate local area and kind of the north half of the state that does in-house state certified training programs just for our department. So what that means is anybody can come in off the street with no experience at all, join the department, and we train them from nothing up through to be state certified firefighters recognized by the state of Illinois. We started this back in 2017 with Knollwood. We did a joint class between the two departments. We're both running our own classes. The amount of hours that go into it is a large number of hours for the training committee and for the members themselves. So we joined together to do a combined class. That was our first state class with the combined departments. After Knollwood closed, a bunch of those members came over. We continued that tradition on with Lake Bluff, bringing new members in. This is our 5th complete class that we have run since then, with a great turnout of good quality members, with a good number of those who have gone on to be career firemen, providing for other communities in the immediate area as far out to Colorado and I believe Arizona. So our class starts off, it's a hybrid class, so it's an online program that's combined with in-class lectures. That's about 180 hours to 200 hours of classroom and lecture format. From there, with our department, we have our own burn tower, so we're able to do a lot of hands-on training there. And that totals out to be about 360 to 400 hours of hands-on training throughout the year, with the candidate class and department training that these members come through to be able to complete our class. So a ton amount of hours they spend driving back and forth to the station, being around, time at home on their computers, getting through the book work, and then special events throughout the year. They also come up and play a big role with that, helping us out on special events for the community. So I'd like to acknowledge these guys for their hard work and dedication getting through that program. We started off with, was it 12 in your class? 16 in your class, narrowed down to 8 pretty quickly, with a lot of personal life things there. And then finished the class out with 4 members completing through the whole class. A few of them are now going through with EMT class or complete EMT class to be able to provide for EMS coverage for area. So yeah, if you want to stand up, you guys. A round of applause for these guys for going through the training. I'd also like to recognize their families as well through with the fire and EMS. It takes a strong home life and backbone there to get these guys up here to be able to do the trainings. Coming home after long late nights, going on rough calls, and having a support network behind them that allows them to be able to get started with this career and then move forward on in this career. So a round of applause to the families as well. That's all I have for you guys. Congratulations. Chief, you want to say a couple more words?
Just one last comment. We, the members of the Lake Bluff Volunteer Fire Department, want to thank the board for your support. We are blessed with the equipment that you provide us with, the facilities, and the ability to have a training program like we have going on now. So we want to thank you for your support. That's all we have.
Thanks, Chief.
And not David, in return, we are grateful for your work and the work of your team for providing Lake Bluff with the incredible fire department we have here. And to the 4 of you, thank you very much for joining our city and our village and being around us simply now. So thank you very much. And moreover, to your families, thank you very much for being with us today and for supporting them in becoming firefighters with us. So thank you. We also have a recognition to Police Sergeant Thomas Vinson, having completed the Staff and Command Training Program at Northwestern University's Center for Public Safety. This program, which was implemented by the Center of Public Safety in 1983, has graduated over 25,000 students, both nationally and internationally. The School of Police Staff and Command provides upper-level college instruction in more than 27 core blocks of instruction. Police Chief Matt Smirzinski will be present to remark on Sergeant Vincent's accomplishment on Monday night. So thank you, Chief.
Good evening. What a great opportunity tonight, right, to show our public safety off a little bit, right? How about it? Welcome to our new firefighters. Look forward to working with all of you. So tonight we just want to take a moment to talk about Sergeant Vincent, who joined us in 2007. And during that time as a patrol officer, he was field training officer. He was lead homicide investigator. He also did use of force instructor and evidence technissician. Then in 2017, he joined the ranks as a sergeant and has just done exceptional work since assuming that rank, including some of our CLIA accreditation. And as the board knows well, that takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication for that position. So, but Tom, it took us a little bit because of COVID and some other things to get Tom to police staff and command. And so staff and command has, as President Charlot talked about, some of these upper management type courses that talk more about leadership and budgeting, right? We all know how important that is. To help build some of these skill sets in the sergeant rank, commander rank for certain agencies to help prepare for that next step for those future of the department. So I want to take a moment to introduce Tom, Sergeant Vincent right here. Again, Tom's been with us since 2017 as a sergeant. And would you like Tom to share a couple of remarks about staff command, anything that stuck out that you liked a lot, thought was good? You know, feel how well the program may have helped better you for the
No, it was a long 10 weeks. The benefit was it was kind of a hybrid, 2 weeks there, 2 weeks home, 2 weeks there, 2 weeks back, which dragged it out a lot longer. But it also kind of ensured that everyone in the class was a local supervisor. So there was people from Highland Park, Libertyville, Mundelein, these were all local departments. So that part of it was kind of neat. I'm sure my family appreciated having a normal schedule, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. Having dad home for dinner every night was kind of nice. But it was a lot of different courses thrown at you, kind of rapid fire. But they do a good job of getting you through the material. So that was a good takeaway. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for the opportunity to help, expand the knowledge of our staff and, just better prepare us. So we're very appreciative and we congratulate Tom on a great job. And we thank you all again for all the support. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Fire lead, Mr. President.
Thanks all.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
And lady.
Oh, there's one.
It's great to see them all in one place.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next on our agenda are the consideration of the minutes of the January 22nd, 2024 regular village board meeting. Is there a motion to approve the village board minutes of the December 22nd minutes?
January 22nd.
January 22nd minutes?
And just to be clear too, President Charlo identified a typo, an important typo there was missing on page 7 in the third paragraph. In the fifth sentence down, it should read that President Charlo said he viewed the library's website and was not able to find the strategic plan. So that's a miss. So adding that in there.
Thank you. It was an important distinction to make. Are there any more comments to these minutes? And so,
Yeah.
thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Do we need there's a motion? Still needed?
Yes.
Need a motion? So moved?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you very much. Sorry.
Voice vote? Yeah.
This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? I need to regain composure, I'm sorry. Thank you. Moving forward with non-agenda items and visitors. The village president and board of trustees allocate 15 minutes during this item for those individuals who would like the opportunity to address the village board of trustees on any matter not listed on the agenda. Each person addressing the village board of trustees is asked to limit their comments to a maximum of 5 minutes. Could you please state your name and your address?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Peter White, 400 East Sheridan Place. I commend the board on the adoption of the resolution for unscheduled bus stops. The board addressed 3 of my questions that I brought up or suggestions in the meeting of the whole. There was one that was overlooked, and that was that whether or not those requests, those applications would be published when they're received from the village. Doesn't necessarily need to be in the resolution, but I think the public should be aware of when those, if and when those applications are submitted to the village.
I mean, we certainly can. I mean, it's just a matter of doing it and finding a place on the website for it. We haven't received any, importantly.
Okay, well, that's good news. Maybe the ordinance is doing its job.
But we could do that, I mean, as a matter of practice. The village places applications for zoning approvals and a number of activities as part of the committee's review, so it's not necessarily out of line with what's been done, so it's not.
So it would be all applications, it wouldn't be targeted to,
Yeah, anybody who would make an application under those regulations. Yeah.
Yeah, it's consistent. Okay, thank you for that. Second topic, turning to the license plate scanning, a few comments for consideration. I had the privilege of listening to the, I believe it was the Committee of the Whole meeting. Some interesting thoughts came out of there. I'm glad that the village has recognized that this technology is important, and every trustee advocated their support for the police chief and his department to do their job. I just want to make clear, I have no relationship with any of the companies, financial or otherwise. My only interest is to provide the highest level of security for the citizens of Lake Bluff and our neighborhood communities. I think Trustee Charlotte did an excellent job summarizing what the consensus was, and that was that they were going to move ahead, the village was going to move ahead and revise the contract or try to get revision of the flock contract. Is that
Yes,
the way to pronounce it?
correct.
And where are we with, do we have a clean agreement?
It was submitted to Flock for review. I think we're waiting their response.
Okay. So the ball's in their court. So a couple comments. Specifically around data retention and the 30 days versus the 14 days. I think the police chief and police department is advocating for 30 days, consistent with other neighboring communities like Lake Forest. I've reached out to them to confirm that, but I do believe I heard that their retention policy is 30 days. But our police department is asking for 30 days. I think that should be considered. Everybody here goes to Lake Forest, right? From time to time, I would imagine. It's where the stores are, or a lot of them. Nobody purposely avoids going to Lake Forest because their license plate is retained by Lake Forest for 30 days, do they? No, I don't think so. I think what we need to do is focus on that 30-day policy, make it consistent. That's what the police department needs to do their job. Those of you who go to the train station, the metro station, I didn't count all the cameras, but there are quite a few there. I don't think anybody in this room knows what their data retention policy is, nor do you avoid using the train. Technology is often ahead of the regulation, but waiting for the regulation to catch up will always leave the toolbox less full for crime investigations. Give the police the tools to do their job. Let's face reality. Cameras are everywhere we go. Stores, here, banks, roads, public lands. Today, public privacy really is an oxymoron, and it's a double oxymoron. Public privacy. These cameras are about solving the crimes. Let's give the chief the toolbox to solve these crimes, as well as support other local jurisdictions. At times, we have a volunteer fire department, it's great, but we rely on Lake Forest. I saw a fire, unfortunately, over on Malman. Gurney was here. Lincolnshire was here. Glencoe was here. It must have been a slow day. But when the phone, unfortunately, we got the action. But when the phone rings and these other communities need help, I think they deserve 30 days worth of data. So in summary, let me say, let's get these cameras installed, and let's not, pardon the expression, because I know there are a lot of lawyers on the board here, let's not over-lawyer this, okay? Let's stand up for the police department, the citizens. It's about investigation, and let's hope Flock or another company comes back. Lake Forest has an agreement with them, right, with Flock, so it can be done. Thank you.
Peter, thank you. I do not see any more person in this room for public questions. Do we have anybody online?
No, sir.
All right, thank you very much. And I say we move on to the next item, that would be our village board setting the order of the meeting. The village president and board of trustees will entertain requests from anyone present on the order of business to be conducted during this village board meeting. There are very few items on this on tonight's agenda. Do we have any requests?
No, sir.
All right. Moving on to our village finance report for its warrants report for January 23rd to February 12, 2024. Is there a motion to approve the warrants report?
So moved?
Seconded?
Thank you very much. Tonight, we have, as a summary of background and reason for request, we have expenditure of village funds for payment of invoices in the amount of $230,815.56 for January 23rd to February 12, 2024. Again, for a total of $230,815.56. Are there any questions on the board to Drew and Bettina? And if so, this is a roll call. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Freed?
Here? Aye.
Trustee Rappin? Aye. Trustee Ryder?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Thank you. Next is our village administrator's report,
I have no report.
followed by our village attorney's report.
No report.
And I will follow suit on item 10. I do not have a report as well. Now, I would like to mention that I will be attending the North Shore Water Reclamation District this Wednesday with comments in support of Lake Bluff Yacht Club for their for rebuilding their compound in a fair manner. And that would be it. Any questions? All right, thank you. Next is item 11, acceptance of a correspondence. Please note that all correspondence was delivered to the Village Board of Trustees in the informational report on January 19, 26, and February 2nd to 24. Is there a motion to approve the correspondence?
Moved.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any questions? This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion carries. Thank you very much. Next is item 12, a resolution establishing the regular meeting dates and committee of the whole meeting dates for the Board of Trustees for fiscal year 2024 to 2025. Is there a motion to approve a resolution?
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you. Illinois statutes require the village board to to provide notice of the regular schedule of meetings. In keeping with past practice, the proposed schedule establishes the regular meeting of the village board, 7 p.m. start time, on the second and fourth Monday of each month. Additionally, the proposed schedule also includes committee of the whole, meeting dates at typically 6 p.m. start time for the same night as the regular meeting of the village board. Please note the attached meeting schedule includes one meeting for May and for the month of December. Last meeting canceled due to the proximity of the holiday season. While Columbus Day and Veterans Day are federal holidays not observed by the village board can meet on these dates because they occur on the regular meeting dates. Keeping with past practice, staff will provide cancellation notice in the event that there is a lack of business for upcoming meetings. Are there any comments on the board on these dates? It is a roll call vote. Claire?
Trustee Rappin.
Aye.
Trustee Ryder.
Aye.
Trustee Fisher.
Aye.
Trustee Freed.
Aye.
Thank you. Next would be item 13, a resolution reallocating the 2024 Village of Lake Bluff volume cap to the Village of Buffalo Grove, Illinois, as a host community of a Lake County Private Activity Bond Clearinghouse. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you. Industrial revenue bonds or private activity bonds are tax-exempt bonds issued on behalf of businesses engaged in the manufacture or production of tangible personal property. The state overall authority under federal law to issue this form of debt is rationed among the state of Illinois and the state local governments. This annual allocation is referred to as the volume cap. Due to significant upfront issuance costs, IRBs less than $2 million are generally not cost-effective. As a result, municipalities rarely use their own volume cap and instead pool it with other municipalities or cede it to the state. In the past, the village has transferred its volume cap authority to the Private Activity Bond Clearinghouse Pool, also named as the pool, hosted by the Village of Buffalo Grove. Buffalo Grove receives the combined volume cap allocated to each participating agency and then may issue private activity bonds on behalf of a pool to finance eligible projects through Lake County. Each participating entity receives half a percent fee should their volume cap be used for a project. On January 17, 2024, Lake County partners wrote to solicit the village participation in the pool via transfer of a village's 2024 volume cap, being $693,625 to the Village of Buffalo Grove. In the absence of any local business requests for use of Lake Bluff's volume cap, staff is providing this request to the village board for consideration. Village staff will be in attendance to answer questions from the board. Are there any questions on the board? I had a few questions to Drew today about this, and it was instructive, and it is really very much for our business community to be able to invest. So it's interesting if we see activity on this bond in the first place.
Yeah. Focused, three components, or I guess three eligible groups: manufacturing, affordable housing, and nonprofits. But nobody's talked to the village about accessing this pool of monies, so,
Is there a...
which is not uncommon, so.
Is there a mean or could we advertise this type of funding possibility to residents? As in, it is only to our interest for people to apply to these funds to grow their businesses, in effect?
We could. I think most most businesses in our community, generally speaking, are pretty sophisticated when they come to borrow this level of money and are getting advice, and would likely know of it as an as a potential pool of money. But we can certainly reach out. We can certainly use the Chamber of Commerce, and obviously county partners, that their function in the county is the economic development arm of the county, and usually focus on industrial type manufacturing users. So that's why they're helping orchestrate all this, is that they're the primary entity, local government entity, reaching out to those types of businesses for this purpose. So
thank you for the clarification. Are there any other comments and questions to Drew on the board? It is a roll call vote. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Ryder.
Aye.
Trustee Fisher.
Aye.
Trustee Freed.
Aye.
Trustee Rappin.
Aye.
Next would be a resolution authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with Tesca Associates, Inc. for the design engineering for Central Business District Block 1 streetscape project. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you. In December 2021, the village board adopted the downtown streetscape concept plan. The adopted plan included significant changes to the block of East Scranton Avenue between Sheridan Road and Walnut Avenue, known as Block 1 of the Central Business District. The key elements of the plan include: 1, maintaining two-way traffic and the parking configuration on the south side of the block. 2, expanding the sidewalk and green space on the north side of the street. And 3, altering the curb type on the north side of the street to allow flexibility to use the street and sidewalk as one continuous space for events. And 4, and last, including options to install seat walls and festoon lighting similar to what was included in the Block 2 streetscape project, and that would be in front of Innovasi. Village staff requested a proposal from Tesca Associates to prepare construction drawings for the project based on the refined concept plan that was last discussed at the July 10th, 2023 Village Board meeting. The village intends to use the drawings to pursue grant funding later in 2024 for the construction of the project. The proposal submitted by Tesca Associates is for a fee not to exceed $94,263 without additional written authorization from the village. The village fiscal year 2024 budget contains adequate funds for the work, and village staff recommends adoption of the attached resolution approving the professional services agreement. And this is very exciting. We will get to complete the plan we started a few years ago about illuminating our village and bringing more life during summer nights. So thank you very much.
well, ideally, gotta get the grant, and
come on.
because it's
Detail.
yeah.
Questions on the board? Steve?
So then $94,000 are going to be for construction drawings. Whether we get the grant and move forward, or if we don't get the grant and decide to move forward without a grant,
Yep.
the $94,000 will be utilized for construction drawings. So it's money that we would be spending to do this project no matter what.
That's right, and we've talked about this before, is that the idea that that block needs some repairs anyway, and the village is, between the road and the sidewalk, how much do you think we're,
Probably about $300,000 just to fix it the way.
if the village didn't change the layout?
Yeah.
So, and we think, last check-in, the Block 1 concept that was laid out like this was about 800,000?
Including this engineering, yeah, 800,000.
So it's getting close to,
Yeah.
being there. So, but hopefully, we're gonna put in for an ITEP grant again and see if we get it.
When would you find out about the ITEP grant?
It'd be,
About a year from now.
try again, right?
Try again. Yeah, I mean, and then at some point, if we try enough times and we don't succeed, we'll have to talk about using our capital funds.
Certainly, at some point, the village is kind of like, bubble gumming together the sidewalk and the street, trying to make it work. And so it's going to get to the point you're going to be faced with, do we spend 300,000 or we go a little more and get the plan you really want? So.
Will that plan include options such as we discussed at length the one-way, and so that was of course rejected, but we also discussed the space that would be using concrete, for example, as opposed to tar.
So the street itself, the original concept called for a concrete street. We asked for a revision to take some of the cost out. That would have been about $1.2 million. So one of the ways that it was cheapened was to go back to the same asphalt street that we have, just resurfacing it like we do other streets.
So this is the Block 1 light, the re-engineered, how can we reduce this and try to get all the like the curbless street and the expanded sidewalk areas, all the primary goals and not necessarily the materials.
So since it won't all be concrete, there'll be a demarcation, I take it, between tar and then sidewalk, right? But it'll just be level.
It's called curbless, but really there is a little gutter, kind of a very small curb, because you still have to control the water.
It's not a
runoff.
barrier curb like what's
Yeah.
there today, like a 6 to 8 inch barrier curb. Gets taller, it depends where you're standing.
Yeah, it's a 6-inch curb now, but some of our streets have kind of ones where they don't even cut it for a driveway, you can just drive over it. It's even a little softer than that, but it's just enough that, like I said, it will keep the water channeled where we need the water. It won't twist your ankle too badly if you don't see it coming.
What you describe it, Jeff, is you can roll a stroller over it and
Oh,
be okay.
definitely.
Right.
Yeah. It's almost like when you go across a crosswalk, there's still that little lip there, but that would be throughout a significant portion of the block. So color-wise, it will be a change because it will
So
go
there'll
from
be
the
a visual
blacktop
indicator there's
to
a
the
change. Yeah.
concrete. But really, if it were a concrete street, the cost savings is so significant because you dig the whole thing out to the dirt and redo it. We're leaving it asphalt. We can just take the asphalt off, reshape it a little bit, and put the asphalt back on. So that was probably, I think, $300,000 right there in savings.
We also had issues on the sidewalk in front of the brewery, for example, of the bluestone that was installed. So is this plan including replacing all these
That all
elements?
gets ripped out. Yeah, that was a mistake from 20 years ago or almost now, Drew.
Material was not made for northern Illinois.
Salt doesn't go well with the bluestone. Some of the trees aren't working in those spots, so it's, that material, like I said, Public Works has been trying to glue it back together. It splits apart, in layers, and they're running out of duct tape and glue to.
Yeah, the new design does not incorporate
together.
bluestone. It's,
Thank you very much.
yeah.
And so what would be so I know that we need to find a grant, so how long would be this phase, and how long would we think that it would take to get, to capture a grant, and when do we think that this work could start and be completed?
If we get the grant, which would be about a year from now, we would, I don't know, Drew, we probably would do it in the fall again like we did.
Yeah, it worked
Block
pretty well
2.
doing it in the fall. We're very fortunate to have a great.
2.5, 3 months is probably the construction timeline. Once we have the drawings, once we figure out how it's going to get paid for, we can put it out to bid maybe 2 months before we want them to start, and then, 2.5, 3 months to build. So on 5 months' notice, it can be done.
So September of '25.
Yep. Cool. By the end of 2025, we basically would have a completed plan for the CBD. That's the basic point.
Yes.
Is the full drawing necessary in order to have a hope of getting the grant? Or is there a way to do part of what needs to be done ultimately to build it if we're not certain it's going to be built. It's just kind of a big price tag on something we're not certain is going to go forward.
Well, I think the idea that the village is going to have to spend around at least, $300,000 to, even if it wanted to replace what's there in kind, but given of the useful life of that between cracks in the walk and the road. So I would say that I don't know that there is a lighter dive into the plans. I guess you could do, yeah.
Lighten up a couple things. It'd be more efficient, obviously, just to do it at once, but we could take maybe some of the electrical work out and have that engineered later. That would extend the timeline then. When I say you can, go from, yes, we're going to do it, to it's in the ground in 5 months. If we leave some engineering out now, that would stretch that probably 2 more months. But there is some things we could probably skimp on if we.
Yeah, and generally speaking, the village, what we've heard from most grants, whether we've been successful or not, it's the idea that we have invested, the village is invested in the program, right? One that the village has invested in the other Block 2 version of the same central business district planning, and the idea that we pre-planned, just like the stormwater funds where we've gone through phase 1, the idea of the more you've shown investment in this, that there has been greater success, generally speaking, for grant applicants where they've already done phase 1 or even phase 2.
When I say skimp, I don't really mean a whole lot too, because a lot of the cost is getting the surveyors out there doing that work. A lot of it's kind of the base work that then they can do the final engineering on. We can't really lighten that load. It's just kind of the edges that you could trim off perhaps if you wanted to.
Yeah, there's no way to half it, cut it in half and do the other half later.
I mean, it's concept, phase 1, and then phase 2 drawings.
Are there any more questions on the board to Jeff and to Drew? Thank you. It is a roll call vote. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Fried?
Aye.
Trustee Rappin?
Aye.
Trustee Ryder?
Aye.
Thank you. This is very exciting. I've been waiting for that moment to finish this project in our downtown, so thank you very much.
Closer, not finished. Trying to manage expectations.
It's moving, it's great.
Yeah.
Next would be our trustees' report. Do any trustee wish to make a report tonight? Thank you. I believe that tonight we'll have an executive session.
For prop. Go ahead.
For the purposes of discussing probable or imminent litigation.
Thank you. So may I have a motion to go into closed session for the purpose of discussing probable litigation or
Probable or imminent
or
litigation.
imminent litigation pursuant to the Illinois Open Meetings Act, and that upon of the adjournment of a closed session, this regular meeting will be deemed to automatically be adjourned by the same vote without the conduct of any further business. Motion to go in session?
So moved. Seconded.
Thank you. This is a roll call.
Trustee Fried?
Aye.
Trustee Rappin?
Aye.
Trustee Ryder?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Thank you. And this concludes the open part of a village board meeting. Thank you to anyone in attendance tonight. And have a great evening.
Thank you.
Recording